Hello, my Gamma friends. For this video, I wanted to tell you about what I think are the most underrated in Marvel films and shows, in my opinion. We have 15 different things here. Here, though one of them is two films. I put them together because they are one sequel to the other, but it's but um 15, 16 in films and shows that I think are extremely underrated from Marvel. Oh, now I want to preface is that that when I say underrated, I do not mean that these are all the things that I like the most from Marvel. There's definitely a few things that are not on this list that I like more than a lot of the things on this list. I can easily say that the Miss Marvel show and the Hawkeye show. Oh, since those are some of my absolute favorites, they would go above a lot of these things, but I don't think they're really like shows that most people dislike or anything. So I don't think they fit this list. Yeah. So, but to start off, we have the She-Hulk show. This actually is my absolute favorite thing that Marvel has put out. But there are a lot of people who dislike it, so I think it's very underrated. I've talked a lot about She-Hulk on here. You guys know exactly how I feel about it, so I'm gonna move on to the next. Next up, we got the Marvels. This is a film that I think a lot of people didn't give a chance when it came out in theaters. Sadly, I'm pretty damn sure that the reason they didn't give it a chance is because of all the review bombing from bigots. The same happened with She-Hulk. A lot of people didn't give it a chance because of the review bombers. But this film is so much fun. It is such a perfect team up film, and it really understands the concept of being a hero is not just fighting people, it's also saving people. And they made like the biggest thing at the end of the film be about saving people and not just fighting the big bad. They don't spend as much time on fighting the big bad as they do on saving people, which I think is such a cool thing about this film. Next up, we have Howard the Duck. I've talked a lot about this film as well. I don't really need to go into why I love it so much because you guys have already seen that many times from me on here. Howard the Duck. Next one up, I want to talk about the Defenders show. So this is the team up show from that was following each of the Netflix shows, which a lot of people for some reason don't really like this show a lot. I love this show just because there's such a great dynamic between these characters. It's just so much fun to watch them together and interacting and all of their banter together. It's just so much fun to watch them together, and I really hope we get to see the rest of the Defenders return to the MCU, not just Daredevil. Next up is the two Fantastic Four films from the early 2000s. These films just bring so much nostalgia for me watching them. They're such fun on superhero films. They nail that family dynamic so well. The banter between these characters is so much fun, especially between Johnny and Ben, and the casting for them are great. The only things I dislike about these films is particularly from the casting is that they didn't ask a Jewish actor to play Ben Grimm, and they also didn't ask a Romani actor to play Doom. There's never been a Romani actor getting to play Doom, sadly. We're only just now getting the first Jewish actor being able to play Ben Grimm's so at least we're getting that for the upcoming Fantastic Four film. But other than those two castings, these two films are just such great films. Even the sequel, which I know people like the sequel a lot less, but I really enjoy the sequel. I think Silver Surfer is so great in it. That's everything I have to say about these. Next up is Eternals. I think this one has some very beautiful visuals and also story, and I also love the dynamic between all these characters. It's so much fun on watching. It's such a diverse film, and I think again, just like with the Marvels and She-Hulk, it had a lot of people getting turned off by bad reviews, but those bad reviews came from review bombers, of bigoted review bombers, and that really saddens me because we may never see the Eternals again because of these people, which really sucks because these are some great goddamn characters. Now this here, Hulk and the Agents of Smash, is my favorite animated Hulk show. I love this show so much. I watched it as a kid, and I absolutely love seeing it as a kid. And I've watched episodes again now as an adult, and I still really enjoy it. I think that this sadly did not come at a good time for Marvel animated shows, so it didn't get the popularity it deserved. Also, really cool thing that is so unique about this show is it's a mockumentary. You don't get superhero mockumentaries very often, and especially not an animated one. So that's really cool. I think this is a animated superhero mockumentary about Hulks. Yeah, it's just awesome. Next up is Hulk 2003, this film is a very powerful one to me, because this is the only time that we've had in live action that they actually adapted in the fact that Hulk and Bruce Banner have an abusive father, which is really cool to me because it really helps reveal and relate to the film, because I myself had an abusive father, and I'm also a really big fan of Hulk, so it's so cool to be able to see that in this. Now, here's probably my most controversial take from this list, but I really liked Madam Web. I thought it was a really fun film. It's nothing special, but it was a really fun film, and it reminded me a lot of superhero films from the early 2000s with the feel, and it's also set in the early 2000s, so it's just there's so much nostalgia watching this. I really enjoyed it. I know it's not a good film, but I enjoyed it a lot. Next up, we have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a show that I have loved from start to finish, and is one that it really saddens me how much hate it gets for no good reason. It isn't like there's so many people who try to put down the show and be like, and fans of the show, and try to deny the fact that it was and still is considered canon into the MCU, and they do that just because they don't want to take the time to watch the show. I know it takes a while to watch this, but it's such a rich, fulfilling story, so you should watch it. Next up is Hulk, Where Monsters Dwell. It's a Halloween-themed Hulk film, and it has Nightmare as the villain, and it makes it so we can get to see the Hulk and Bruce Banner get to face each other in a mindscape. That was so cool to watch. Next up is the Superhero Squad show. Oh, this is another one that I just have so much nostalgia from watching as a kid. It was such a funny, a goofy little show, and I think if Marvel brought it back, it has the potential to be as popular for them as Teen Titans Go is for DC. Next up is What If. I love this concept for a show. I love the seasons of the show. And I think this show should have gone on forever. Jeffrey Wright is so amazing as the Watcher. Next up is MODOK, a stop motion show where Patton Oswalt plays MODOK and he has a family. It is absolutely hilarious. I highly recommend checking it out. Generation X. This is Marvel's first attempt at bringing mutants into live action, and I had so much fun watching it. That's everything I have to say. This again is your host, Smash Trivia John, signing off.